Well, hello there, rabbits, because it is the first of the month when we're recording this, the 12th episode, Douze, like the 12 apostles of the Doucheless Vegan. My name is Carla Collins, and I'm your sassy sidekick and newborn vegan. Well, I just had a birthday, so I'm all about trying to...
Nubile vegan.
Yes, that's right. Something vile vegan. And Michael Stuart Webb is king of all vegan land and our chef and host. And look at your shirt, honey.
I know. I look like I'm out of the cast of an off-Broadway rendition of The Lion King or something.
There's that. Or, see, what came to my mind was gay cult leader. Like, because there's a lot of flair and it's a nice shirt.
It's true.
But you're still asking us to drink some Kool-Aid.
My own special brand of Kool-Aid.
But your Kool-Aid's just spiked with vodka.
That's true. Vodka, gin, everything.
Oh my goodness, we're in a giddy, still hungover mood.
We are, but we celebrated your birthday on Friday.
We celebrated.
And what a blast we had! It was so much fun,
sweetheart. It was the best birthday I've ever had. It was extraordinary. I am just sitting here, a big ball of gratitude in high heels and lipstick. Really, just from start to finish, I just had such a wonderful day. It started with a gift of Angel.
which I can smell. It's gorgeous on you.
Honey, I'm down to the worm in the bottle. I mean, so the thing is that Angel for years was my signature
I
scent.
know.
And to me, it represents ballardom. And I know that you wear Angel for Men. So
I do.
Since I've been here, which is now going on 8 years, I've said, feels like that. Okay, 8 months, but still. I was like, I love the smell of Angel. And, you know, olfactory senses is so important and strong for triggering memories and emotions and often a good way. There's nothing that gives you that sense of former times than that.
So true. And you know, you feel good, you are good, you know, and if this fragrance harkens back to times when you had some really wonderful and fond memories, then it kind of empowers you in some way, right?
It does, and it just reminds me of wonderful times, and I like how it works with my skin. I mean, you know, we've been in a pandemic, so perfume wasn't a priority, but you gave me what appears to be a Costco size. And it's so delicious that I've just been psh, psh. It's not Axe body spray, so nobody has to worry. But and I've just always loved the smell of it.
Me too.
So.
I mean, Terry Mugler is not only a phenomenal designer, but his fragrances and he's Canadian. His fragrances are. Yeah, he if memory serves me correctly, he actually started as a costume designer for Cirque du Soleil.
Wow.
And
well, Thierry.
Yeah, so he's a Canadian. Fabulous designer. His fragrances are delicious. And the thing I like about his fragrances is that nobody else has anything that can even come close to.
No, they really
what he's
don't.
doing.
They really don't. And it's interesting because I think I was looking online not long ago, and you always know what I want, and of course get the perfect gift, but there are like 47 different kinds of Angel now. There's Angel Light and Angels for vegans. And I mean, seriously, it was like really weird.
I know, it's
I didn't know there
strange.
were so many variations.
Yeah.
And of course I'm wearing Angel Classic, like Coke Classic.
Which was the best.
I know about Alien and Aura and some of his other fragrances because I've tried them all, and some are various strengths, but there was like Angel everything.
It's bizarre.
And Angel. Angel for Thursdays.
Archangel.
Exactly.
Fallen Angel.
I'm wearing Fallen Angel right now. So yeah, it was beautiful. I have these extraordinary bouquets of flowers from you, my older gentleman lover, and two of our closest, as I say, my farm family.
Yes.
So those, and I mean, I like all the old school. Like there's my divine feminine coming out. Like it's like a cliche Valentine's Day perfume, flowers. We're in that time of beauty and joy. And then you put together the most extraordinary Zoom dinner party.
Hercules.
So, you know, we're all being safe. And of course, my brother was on there.
I know.
My other little brother, Paul Schmidt. Donna Roberts, whose birthday it is today.
Today, happy birthday, Donna Roberts.
Yes, I said it was the first of the month. It's the second of the month. So forget about the rabbits, but whatever. I can't. I've been hungover for 24 hours now.
since Friday.
Because we had lots of bubbles. And then
Yes.
for dessert, which we'll talk about, you busted out some 400-year-old Hennessy, which I've never had Hennessy in my life. I joke about having a fistful of Lipitor and washing it down with warm Hennessy. That was pure alcohol.
It was delish.
That was delicious gasoline, but yeah,
Gorgeous cognac. It was absolutely wonderful.
beautiful. And so I guess we should talk about the meal, because I can tell you it was just, anyway, I'm so grateful for everybody who was on board for the madness. And I tried to wrap it up a couple of times because I'm like, I don't know how long people want to stay on Zoom. And we were there. It was quite tantric. Lasted longer than The Irishman. I think it was like over 3 hours.
It was just over 3 hours. So we had a hard start at 7, and it was shortly after 10 when people started, extricating themselves from the meeting. So I'm over the moon happy that everyone could stay with us as long. And we had people literally from every corner of the world.
I know. Los Angeles and New Zealand and Toronto and Vermont. And it was just beautiful. It was
Fantastic.
just beautiful. But I mean, everything was, and it was a total surprise, I should say. I need to say, because I didn't know anything about it. And of course,
Yay.
I burst into tears when my brother came on. Because, my brother, for the 15 years he's been in New Zealand, has always called me the day before because, he calls from the future. The day ahead in New Zealand was always Happy New Zealand birthday. And I didn't hear from him. And what you have to understand is my brother is pure heart. He is like a Disney character.
He's a wonderful man.
He's just the most guileless, non-agendaed, beautiful soul. And he just said, no, I would have blown it. I couldn't call. I'd be like, hi, I'll talk to you tomorrow on Zoom.
I know, but what he doesn't realize, bless his heart, is that he almost blew it by not calling.
Well, exactly. Because I'm like, what the hell? I know, and a good thing I wasn't really thinking of. Anyway, it was fantastic, and the meal was just
It was great.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was
delicious
great.
and perfect.
Yeah, so kudos to our caterers. We ordered Indian food from Taj Grace of India.
Mm-hmm. And is that in Barrie or
it's
nearby?
just outside of Angus, as a matter of fact. So a relatively new Indian restaurant, and I have to say that these guys were phenomenal. So, I had some great conversations with Seema, who I believe is one of the proprietors.
Yes.
And let her know that we were all vegan and that what we were planning, and it was imperative that the meal was not just vegetarian, but it was vegan. Mm-hmm. And she sat down with me going through her recipes to ensure that it was vegan. So, Indian food predominantly is vegetarian, but there's dairy in many.
Use cream or milk in certain dishes,
or
right?
paneer, it's cheese and all that kind of stuff. So,
which is delicious. Listen, again, I'm here to represent both sides. I'm a recent convert with very recent memories of cheese.
Like, that sounds like something President's Choice would be putting out.
Recent memories of cheese.
Do you remember the early commercials for President's Choice? I can't remember his name. Something.
Blah, blah, blah.
What, Bob?
Was it? No.
No. It was
and I used to make jokes.
Nixon or Dick. I don't know.
No, and he was kind of creepy.
Yeah.
He'd always be in a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, it was weird.
You
know who I'm talking about.
Every comic made jokes about this 20 years ago.
I know.
Of course,
but he had this line, memories of whatever,
Yes.
right? So
And of course, that lends itself to a lot of bad
it
jokes.
does.
Memories of your dignity.
Oh my God.
So
Exactly.
that
Oh
one's
my gosh.
self-imposed, but so it was.
They were great, honestly. Food was out of this world.
cuckoo bananas. That was the best samosa ever, and I don't say
you
that
really
lightly.
enjoyed. I know we are samosa connoisseurs, and we're not easily
brag.
impressed.
No.
But yeah, the samosas were to die for, and so Seema was taking me through her recipes, and she modified her recipes to suit us. Like who would do that ordinarily?
Yeah, really, just going that extra mile.
Oh my
like,
God,
way
yeah.
extra
And
mile. So beautiful.
And I had ordered naan because we like naan bread, and
We
she's
love
like,
naan bread.
our naan recipe. She calls me back actually the day of, and she's like, our naan recipe has milk in it. Can we substitute for some tandoori roti because it doesn't have any milk product in it? So just a testament to their level of care, their food out of this world, delish. I would highly recommend checking these people out.
It was so good. Now, what was the meal I went? The dish that I loved. It was like some type of dumpling.
Oh yeah, it was. It's a kofta. So these vegetable type dumplings in this gorgeous, unctuous tomato and onion sauce. It was just spices, and this was actually one of the recipes that they modified because ordinarily the sauce has cream in it, and
it really worked vegan wise.
Oh my god, cashews and it was so good. I'm still having flashbacks to that fantastic meal.
Great hangover food.
It is, yes.
I know, but you had me seated at like the head of the table, and all of a sudden I'm like, who's joining us? What now? So I was a little nervous too.
I know. You had no idea. In fact, I was teasing you saying that we were going to be broadcasting it, that we were taping it for the show.
I honestly thought, are we doing the dishes? Like, I knew it would be a vegan meal, guys. So I'm like, are we going to do the dishes vegan? Like, I don't know if I'm already a couple of champagnes in. Just me lit for an entire episode. Not like it hasn't happened.
3-hour episode. It would be like the Oscars.
Exactly. Can we just talk? Can we talk about that?
Yes, let's talk about the Oscars.
Yeah, like the Oscars, but entertaining.
Oh my gosh, yes. We would have been entertaining, yes.
Well, we were because the last time we tend to tape these shows record these shows on Sundays. Mm-hmm. And I said, dude, it's the Oscars tonight, which we'd forgotten about.
Totally forgot about it.
Knew none of the films, and a few people said, are you going to live tweet these? Which I have in the past, but it's really not the time, baby. Like, I'm making fun of wardrobe and stuff with everything going on currently in the world. As I said, it calls for a softer energy right now.
It's so true.
And
which we will talk about.
Yes, we watched for a little, like maybe 5 minutes, and you looked over at me and I was like, absolutely change it. Because I'm sorry, Steven Soderbergh, like it was, and apparently just got more and more horrific because people hung in for all 3 hours. God bless them.
Oh
God bless your heart, as they'd say in the South.
I couldn't do it.
And they bet the whole farm on Chadwick Boseman winning the, Academy Award because he has won all the other awards. And of course, such a, talk about an inspirational, phenomenal actor, human being. And so they placed Best Actor at the end of the night, which has never been done in the history of the Oscars, I don't believe, or not since the beginning. I don't know. And Sir Anthony Hopkins won it, and apparently deservedly so, of course. Well, you do know that the accountants certainly don't tell the producers who's going to win. So imagine the backlash, and also because it was super awkward, and it was Joaquin Phoenix of all people who's not going to suffer anything. He was like, bye-bye. Anthony Hopkins, who is 83 years old, and I think also thought that he would not be winning, was asleep because it was 3 a.m. in the UK.
Oh, my God.
So anyway, it was, and also because that was so, whenever you do something that isn't organic and it's manipulative, I really think it backfires.
Yep.
It was supposed to be this big tear-jerk moment where Chadwick's wife would accept, and she's been doing these beautiful acceptance speeches in his honor, in his memory. I get it. But you don't rearrange an entire award show. So they decided to go without host, without clips, without humor, without... It was a series, as everybody said, of horrible TED Talks.
I know, it's true.
And out of touch, guys. Like, no one wants to... we're not all in this together. God bless you, but you're super rich and elite.
Mm-hmm.
It took place in a train station, so the train wreck jokes were plenty.
Unbelievable.
And just, we talked about how everything can move on from here. I was on with Humble and Fred this week.
Well, that's where I wanted to go with this,
Yes.
because Fred had made a comment about how it was just all of the Hollywood elite sitting around circle jerking and
He's like,
talking
"That's
about how
circle jerk."
fabulous they are.
And also just Fred Patterson saying circle jerk. So the thing is, it's like, guys, like there's a way to do things, but you have to evolve with these times. Like it's not going to go back. We also can't ignore that we're in a global pandemic. And again, look, for a lot of people, these have been obsolete and ridiculous, but it should be either a great escape, right? I think
for sure.
This is the fork in the road. You either make it a great escape so we can all forget about things for a while, or you do it so it reflects the times.
Yeah.
And it was just earnest, and I don't need,
dry.
I don't need to hear from actors about all their philosophies.
No, and how fabulous they are. To coin a Carlaism, it was drier than Betty White's vagina.
You're welcome. I love Betty. That's
I love
probably
Betty
a bad
White.
expression because I imagine that Betty's still juicy. I really do. I think that she's that phenomenal. So it was just a quick ad lib one time. It made my mom laugh. So I've hung on to it, but I really need to find someone else.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, we'll find someone else to pick on.
We really do. We need somebody else because she's obviously still youthful. But yeah, anyway, well, we didn't hang on. And I didn't.
Oh, I couldn't make it past 5 minutes. It was just, it was dreadful.
Disaster after disaster. And
absolutely horrible. But you're right.
Thing.
This is an opportunity for escapism, right? And they should have gone like way over the top and provided some extraordinary entertainment for people.
Like fantasy. There weren't even any clips.
No, there was nothing.
And by the way, a lot of us, I don't know, we haven't been in a movie theater for over a year. I don't know what was out there.
No, I had no idea what was in the running.
So a lot of people didn't. I just remember Laura Dern came out. She looked a bit like Big Bird. It was very, again, it was very on point and earnest. And apparently one of the funnier moments was Harrison Ford, and I saw the clip coming out, who seemed stoned. And they said that,
oh my God,
they felt that Harrison was smoking up with the octopus from My Octopus Teacher, which was a great, I've been meaning.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about
to watch
that
too. Forever.
Yeah.
And so we did the following night. So something good always comes out of every train
for
wreck.
sure. No, absolutely it does. And let's hope that the producers for the Oscars have learned a little something this time, and they'll put on a better show next time.
I know. And just like Steven Soderbergh, I don't know what's going to happen to it. And it goes to that, like, the ratings were lower than Grandma Millie's boobs. They were like barely 10 million. So
well, of course,
I don't think you can just put something on. Oh, there's a reason why people are played off musically. You know how we've all found that rude? Apparently it's not. Because the acceptance speeches were lasting longer than some of my marriages.
Oh, yeah.
And
they just went on ad nauseum.
You just don't need, again, it's just a weird time. I don't know how to articulate this at all, but it needs to be the collective as opposed to the individual. And I get it. You've worked your whole life and you finally win an Oscar. Of course I want you to have your moment, but, it just...
Yeah, we need the Coles.
It didn't resonate, right?
No,
there was
exactly.
a false ring to it.
Yeah.
No, we do need the Coles notes. Like, drop the verbs.
Exactly. It was disingenuous in many ways. And speaking of people getting ushered off the stage, we were watching I wasn't even paying attention. I had checked out about 30 seconds after turning it on.
You do not suffer anything gladly. You're like, no, I'm done.
Exactly. And I was planning my shopping list.
Yeah.
there was an actor who, if I'm not mistaken, was accepting his award from the UK and just rattling on. And didn't someone enter stage left and basically push him off?
The proverbial old-timey hook.
God.
The vaudeville hook is what people got.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, as I said, I think there's always a way to do these, but you have to move with the times. And,
absolutely.
what was I going to say that we were talking about with Humble and Fred? Oh, yeah. My thing was, I feel like the mic drop was Ricky Gervais hosting Golden Globes, not this January, but the one that preceded it, just before everything shut down, calling out the Hollywood people saying, hey, you're all buddies with Epstein. And I mean, that monologue, of course, has gone down for the ages. It is the most incredible, whether you love him or not. And I know of course, Ricky Gervais is not afraid to offend. And he's so unbelievably brilliant. And what did someone say? When you hear the truth, it sings. And his entire monologue was phenomenal. And though, the thing is, you're supposed to be allowed to make fun of the Hollywood elite. It's called punching up.
Exactly.
They're going to be fine. They went back to their yachts and boats and butlers and human chessboards. They're fine.
I'm not even remotely concerned about the Hollywood elite.
Yeah. So I think once he did that, that was the completion of that cycle. Then you've got to go in another direction.
Totally.
Or just have Ricky Gervais host everything.
He's phenomenal.
I think he would have been perfect for this time. He would have been perfect for the Academy Awards. Of course, they're terrified of them, and they don't they don't like them being made fun of. Which you always want to have the joke hit you. That's the best part about things. It's very endearing. It's likable, and if you're like, there's always. It's so difficult right now, and I know I talk about this all the time. It's so difficult, and you want to be sensitive, but every joke has a target. So if you can boomerang that back on yourself or your collective selves, it's going to work. Well,
let's face it too, when you're, speaking of targets, when you're in the public eye, you are a target. It comes with the territory,
it does.
And if you have such a thin skin that you can't take a couple of hits once in a while, like
when you're a billionaire?
right?
You're fine.
You know, it comes with the territory. So
yeah, so that was.
You can go back to your Bel Air mansions and count your Benjamin Franklin's.
Bathing
I
your
do not
$1,000 bills.
exactly.
Bathing
I do
your
not
Grovers.
feel sorry for you.
It's fun, you know. So, but there had to be a way to do that, and it literally went the worst possible way.
Absolutely, I really think that they should have gone over the top spectacle and just put on an enormous show that was entertaining and, you know.
Exactly, and it was very weird, like considering
The flow
especially where
sucked.
we are well, the camera work was very Blair Witch. I don't know what was happening there, but you know where we are in Ontario, I don't know, complete humanitarian crisis happening in India currently. To see a bunch of people jumping around in gowns without masks on was a bit. And you know, you and I have been very clear about it. I was like, I don't think, because again, it's what it promotes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, don't worry, well, we're fine.
Exactly.
Because we're, you know, drinking the blood of young virgins or something. Like, it just was weird. It was just very.
Yeah, you're right.
Didn't
You're right.
reflect
The whole thing was disingenuous, right? And
Yeah.
and you know, to quote Fred again, I mean, it was just a big circle jerk. Like, who cares, right? I mean, it was not entertaining.
No, you can't have just like it's all about the artists. And
Like,
early on, people are like, I like how this is going back to just the artist. And I was like, I don't know.
talking about themselves?
Don't
Like,
know
come
who
on.
anyone is, and I feel like
Yeah.
it's the wrong note, but okay. And then we just looked at each other, and we're not used to conventional TV because we're like, what's with the commercials?
I know. We have been Netflixing pretty much is that it? I've just created, I think, a new word.
Netflixing and chilling, yes. We don't do the chill part because that means banging.
Yeah, that would just be a little strange.
So it's just you and I actually just watching Netflix.
Yes, and chilling.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes, we are. So, it was, and again, we're not alone in thinking this. It was just,
No, I think you know, the vast majority of the population, unless of course you are, you know, Hollywood elite, hated the show, as evidenced by their abominable ratings.
And I get the awkward, you know, the recency effect of how you end anything, right? You've got to close big was just a complete clusterfuck. It was a
boring.
clusterfuck. Well, not even boring. That part was jarring and awkward and awful for all parties concerned.
Oh, you're talking about the
best actor,
yeah, the best actor thing, yeah.
And just and then they just ended it like, it's like me dying on stage. Okay, bye. Casper, what? So there was an opportunity, but again, as we always say, which is why we started the show, no one wants to be preached to.
No, I mean,
really doesn't work. So, and you don't need an actor preaching at you right now.
No. I mean, you know, let's
political.
face it, we're all being preached at enough as it is, right?
Yeah, we're good.
So, I think we're okay.
Told to do a lot. I know it's like we all have our inner school marm and our outer school marm right now. So
exactly.
We need to just chill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're all good.
Yeah. So that was wild. I know. Was really, and by the way, we want to thank Humble and Fred Radio because
they were very supportive.
They were all about the doucheless vegan, which I haven't even talked to them about.
I know. Well, you know, kudos to them. Howard is the consummate researcher, as you know.
Yeah, and I use them because you can hear them online, and you have to know that Humble and Fred have been together since 1989.
Mm-hmm.
We were listening to them like in high school, university, right? So I've found them, as I said, a very calming presence during the pandemic. Because even when I was in LA, I'd listen to them if I couldn't sleep. Obviously, time difference. But, you know, see, they're doing a very different show now than they did on CFNY in the 80s.
Of course they are. Well, it's evolved.
I know. And so that's why I'm saying the stark difference. That'd be the chocolate monster.
Well, you know what he's barking at. We've got Duke upstairs locked in a bedroom. He followed me upstairs.
Duke isn't locked in a bedroom. Like, we're not punishing.
He followed me upstairs and he fell asleep on a bed, and now he's
Cadbury, get over here, buddy.
Would like to get up.
I know. Jack and well,
there's no shortage of entertainment. Unlike the Oscars, there's always something really very exciting going on here.
Exactly. So to that point, the little kitties that occupy the mudroom, we're down to 2.
We found homes, and I think
homes. I was devastated. Of course,
I know you were. You were
so cute.
I know you were vying to keep them all. I'm like, I'm sorry, sweetie, but nope.
No, I wasn't. But practically, I wasn't vying to keep. I have my hands full with the 8 chicks in the bathtub and the 3. Kittens I kept from the last litter.
Yes.
But yeah, they were so adorable. And,
Yeah.
I'm so
And they've all
happy.
gone to really good homes.
Yeah, vet clinicians. I mean, you really can't get any better than vet techs.
Exactly. It does not get any better. So that's phenomenal.
Yes.
And,
So-
they're going to be happy and they'll get the attention that they deserve. They're all super cute.
Oh, they're so sweet. And it's been great to see them interact with their mom.
Yeah. She's a great mom.
She is a great mom.
So she's out there as well. And,
And we, is that Duke I hear, Holly?
Yes, that's
Darling,
Duke.
do you need to go get him? What are we going to do here?
I don't, yeah, I'm
All right.
I'm going to be right back. Carla, it's all yours.
Great. Do a monologue. Shall I just do a series of shout outs? Anyway. No one wants to hear me sing. It's like a Yoko Ono 2.0 situation. This is like basically when I do my Facebook Lives. I was hoping after so many Zoom comedy shows this year, I wouldn't have to just talk to camera. But I've got a lot of practice doing it. So, happy birthday to my Torian sister, Donna Roberts. I love you so much, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. She's a friend of the show. She listens every week, so I know that my little goddess is listening, our Southern Belle. So there we do. I did a little birthday thing, did a little pokeroo. And I see Tracy.
Oh, my God. Was that pokeroo? That was some...
Well, the polka dot door. And pokeroo was on the polka dot door, I think.
It was that woman who held the mirror.
Yeah, she was the
Was
Susie,
that polka dot door?
I think so.
Oh, my God. We're taking a step back in time to Canadian children's programming.
I can answer any question about Mr. Jessup and the Friendly Giant and Chez Hélène, the French show I was forced to watch. Got a lot of water cooler talk on that in the neighborhood because no one else had to watch the French show. Oogly woogly. But yeah, the polka dot door was where my brother's like, I don't know. They never said
Romper
They never said Carla,
Room.
so I still bit. Oh, Romper Room. That's
with
right.
with the mirror.
Yes.
I see Billy and I see Jane and I see Carla.
I wish. That was white privilege time. It was
certainly
I see Karen
was.
every day. It was all just
I
waspy
know.
names.
Totally
they were just
was.
wasping
Yes.
all over the place.
There was
It not
no-
like, I see Fernando.
I was just going to say that.
I see Mohammed. I don't remember any of
there
those.
was none of that.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
not.
there was all
not as
waspy
diverse
names.
as we'd hope.
Oh,
I
my
knew
God.
everything. So, by the way, we started watching a show on Netflix called Why Are You Like That? And it's a great parody on being overwoke.
Oh, my
'Cause there's
God.
always-
It's so
now
funny.
now we're living in a time when you can't say anything.
You can't say anything, right?
And these guys are doing a great satirical job of
Oh,
these
it's so
three young
funny.
actors.
It's so funny.
It's fantastic. And let's circle jerk back to, I just want to say that my octopus teacher, and of course, we've
Oh,
heard
yeah,
about
it
this
was so great.
We're really late to the party, so you've probably seen it, but how beautiful.
Oh, my God. The story was fantastic. And
Oh, and
really,
speaking of being a vegan, I'm like, because you have to know, guys, calamari was one of my favorite dishes. And I was like, again, just very grateful. Not going to do that again. The
yeah,
octopus is smarter than me.
very, very intelligent animals. And, they show affection, too. So
Oh, I know.
just watching
they
this guy.
only live for a year.
Well, this particular species only lives for a year. But, it was really
octopus
interesting.
years.
It was really interesting to watch this, burly dude who was completely devoid of any kind of emotion. He was very stoic. And then at the
Stoic
end,
and
as he's
not spiritual.
No. And so he's recanting the octopus's last moments and he starts welling up.
Spoiler alert.
I know.
I know.
It was shocking.
It was so beautiful.
It was really, really, really beautiful. Great show.
See, now that resonates with this time.
Totally.
I know you looked over and I was, of course, a complete puddle of,
Your
hey, surprise, I'm in
hiding your
tears again.
face in a cushion.
Oh, it's devastated. Cry easily.
Oh,
Beautiful
my
things
God.
mostly, but yes,
Well, it was a beautiful
it
thing.
really was.
For me, the most poignant thing was this guy who did not have tear ducts previous to filming this documentary, embracing, another sentient being and valuing
Yes.
his relationship with this octopus.
Here equally on the planet. Well,
Yeah.
he said prior to that he wasn't particularly close to animals.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew, he had that inner knowing that something was missing. He wasn't connecting, and how his relationship with this octopus connected him more to his wife, to his beautiful son, who was basically his mini-me, and went to the same place every day for
a whole year. Documenting and chronicling the life of this octopus. And he had talked about how he was completely burnt out. He'd spent all of his years filming and doing documentaries and researching, and how he spent many years away from his family and traveling and so on, and how burnt out he was and how he was suffering. He had to take a step back because he was suffering, and his mental health was taking a nosedive, and how he was disenfranchised from everything, and that this octopus really kind of saved his life, right? Taught him some really valuable lessons with regard to the value of life and your place in the cosmos,
Yeah,
it was really beautiful.
Perfectly said. Again, we're all connected, right? Yeah. We always have this sense of other.
Absolutely.
And, whenever things are trying, if we can keep that in mind, that we're all connected, I think it goes a long way.
I completely agree with you.
And we're not connected to anyone at the Oscars, and I tried very hard. Feeling disconnected, but still, we're all connected, so, there's that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier than others, right?
It is, yeah. I could not connect to that that show, not even if I tried. I know.
So so that was incredible, and I got this. So again, beautiful gifts. As I said, I'm just overwhelmed, and I think on last week's show I had said going into this that this week has been traditionally, since my mom left, very difficult for me. Mm-hmm. And then lo and behold, I think it was that night, you and I were outside, and we had such a great talk. And I completely shifted.
Yes.
I did an immediate shift because I can hear my words back. And by the way, our last show for a couple of vegans, we ruffled some feathers.
Good.
But even watching that show back, I can't imagine that state I was in. And so it was your wise words, and I talked a great deal last week about how we've moved into a feminine energy and to go with the flow. Bruce Lee says, be like water. And so I tried to take my own advice, and it's really worked.
Well, it's remarkable, right? And we had a great talk, that night on the deck. And, we were talking about getting out of our own way. And oftentimes, and we were talking about it again earlier today, oftentimes we erroneously and subconsciously place obstacles in our path, and it's us that we place in our path as an obstacle, and it's really important, I think, to just get out of your own way, and as corny as it sounds, just surrender.
Well, sometimes, I've always said, I think we overcomplicate things.
Of course we do.
The most simple answer is right there. And again, that matches what we're going through now, a softness, a surrendering, a magnetizing instead of going out and chasing after it.
Yeah.
And that's why a harshness right now is not working.
Yeah, well, I think that human beings historically have been wired to dominate, right?
Well, we've been in this warrior masculine energy
since the dawn of time.
Of years now.
Yeah, millennia, the dawn of time, right? We've got to conquer. We have to conquer nature. We've got to conquer animals. We've got to conquer the earth,
our conquests.
Yes.
There's a whole, and
conquer other people, and
that's apparent, as we mentioned last week, apparently that's the real reset of the whole pandemic and going within. And it's always, the answers are always within, right? Yep. We're always seeking elsewhere and giving the power away. I don't know if it's because it's easier or we have more trust, but your big message was also having faith, because it's so one important thing to say you've got faith, and they say right now, the more you trust the universe, the whole, again, Einstein, do you think we live in a benevolent or a hostile universe? So the more you trust the universe, the more you can go with it.
Absolutely.
And then it's funny, once you make that shift, my tummy growling again. That's my thing.
Do you need some more Indian food?
I do, obviously. So when that we talk about synchronicity, so when you get one message, it's funny how it will just triple and quadruple, and you'll hear it 3 more times, and you're like, okay, I think I'm supposed to listen to this, because it comes out. You said that, and somebody suggested a book by Michael Singer about surrendering. Like it's just been piling on, and we have been making jokes because I've had lovely, but various gifts of psychic readings this year. And that was the other thing. Speaking of disconnected, I'm like, I think they're talking to a multi-level marketer. I don't know.
Some of them weren't good.
They just were not resonating. And again, like anything else, you're going to have the strong ones and the ones that connect. But and not that this is psychic, because it's a very different philosophy, art form, what have you. But Donna Roberts gifted me a session with a numerologist, and I've always been fascinated by numerology. I have a very good friend who's a numerologist, Mr. Kalsa. This woman's name is Laverne Baker Hotep. She is out of Pittsburgh, and she needs your birth date, your date of birth, and the name that appears on your birth certificate, so the name you were born with. And my session today lasted like an hour and 40 minutes.
That's wild.
And it's all like, I mean, this year has a number. You have different numbers. Like I have it, like overall, I'm a number 9. Thank you. It's all the numbers. It's the number of humanity. And I have like crazy amounts of 3s.
Oh, really?
And I said, I love 3s because 3 is the number of magic. Like you apparently say, so mote it be 3 times in your spells. And of course, comedy has the rule of 3s.
Right.
So it's always been something that resonated with me. And my name being Carla Collins, the C is the 3rd number in the alphabet. So that's also a 3.
Oh, really? Wow. That's very interesting.
Yes. And I won't go into everything, but basically it's a combination of spirituality and comedy is why I'm here. So,
look at you, and you're on that exact trajectory.
And she said, interestingly, that's your lesson to learn. So you're teaching what you need to be.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Oh.
And one of the things we talked about is 3 is a communicator, not just a bringer of joy. And by the way, there's a flip side to everything. So I also resonated with the shitty parts of me. I don't want you to think she was bang on, because I'm fantastic. Like, whenever she gave the opposite.
Right.
Was also true.
Well, you had to embrace
warrior,
that too. Yeah.
Seeing like lack with abundance. Like there were the whole, and one of the things, of course, with words, because she said, look at the number 3 and look at the C. It spills out. And I was thinking, why even? I'm going to give credit where credit's due, where maybe Souffle didn't resonate, because she said with different people, I have to be very careful, because something that maybe even you would say would not hit people the wrong way, but I have to be very, very careful of my words.
All right, so where does one draw the line with that? Like, we just stop communicating, and do you know what I mean? Because you.
Well, no, I just think you're mindful, right? And you realize that they carry a lot of power.
Of course, and I am a believer that words carry weight.
Yes, there's a great power to them, and just maybe the intent. My other thing is, I have to watch any overindulgences.
In what?
Well, I think probably when I was listening to this reading and hungover, that might be one. I mean, and I know that, I'm not terribly, I'm pretty square.
You push the boat out like what, once every 4 or 5 years. So
push the boat. We pushed out the entire marina. Well, I think I'm a little bit aware of that. So I want to make sure I don't go. And, indulgences don't just have to be booze or anything else. You can, I can go extreme fast, hon. I like to go all the way or no the way.
You're pretty hardcore.
So yeah, I found that part really fascinating. But I mean, really everything she said, I have no idea what the cost is, because this was very generously gifted to me. But if anybody wants more information, I got to tell you, and also she was just so lovely and the real deal. And again, this isn't a psychic. This is
a numerologist.
Science. It's numerology. So it's your numbers. And she's just saying what, and for example, I'm in the cycle of a 3, right? Another 3 this year. And she said 1 is planting the seed, if you look at it that way. The number 2 is watering it. And 3 is the appearance of it.
Oh.
So she said, and so that all across the board, everything is important, like from my appearance to celebrating little bebe, like there's the creation is now showing. Whereas when you're in a 2, which is a feminine number, you just have to believe that it's beneath the surface.
That's all faith, right?
Yep. All faith in it too. And then 4, which will be next year for me, 2022, is nose to the grindstone. You're back to working. It's more serious.
Amazing.
Right now, I'm just the mirth maker.
Well, that's okay.
So I get to be joyful and make you laugh. And so for me, obviously, a lot of things she said really resonated.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I was just feverishly taking down notes. And she's like, I usually tell people not to, but you're a 3, so I knew you were going to anyway. What? And you know me, I'm such a cliche. Like, I think when I'm into something, I'm right into it.
Yeah,
like, it's just like I'm the full package. Like, yep, poster child for it.
Yeah, you don't do anything in half measures.
No. Probably should with some things, but I don't. So numerology is super fascinating. I'm sure a lot of people.
I don't know a lot about it, admittedly.
Yeah. So she would calculate your using the date of birth. So like April 30th, there's a 3. Oh, and apparently when there's a 0 after it, it jacks up the abundance, jacks up the power, like just little things like that I found fascinating. That anybody,
really?
I had I'm not sure. My heart is a 5.
Really? So what does that mean?
10. So
on the
5
spectrum of things.
It's the most spiritual number. It's change.
Wow.
Right. And then my personality was a 7. Like, so everybody, and then it's just the characteristics, both good and bad, that go with all these numbers.
That's so interesting.
And so it was like, but the 2 things were artistry, entertainer, writer, communicator, and the rest is to develop intuition, spiritual.
That's spectacular.
So when I told her about comedic meditation, it was like, it's absolutely your life's purpose.
Well, it makes perfect sense. So, did she know who you were prior to the reading?
I said, Laverne, do you know who I am? No, nobody knows who I'm not known. No, she, we share a best friend.
Right.
So
but if you recall, someone else had gifted you a reading and they had kind of shared your life story with them.
No, she may have known. It also wouldn't matter if she knew I was a comedian, because I could be a number that absolutely didn't jive with that. Right. So being a joy bringer, she kept saying, so that's worked out well. And remember also, I came to comedy later.
Yes.
I didn't, I tried it out of the gate and didn't have I didn't have thick enough skin for it. And then of course, so now it makes sense that I went back, because that's just a big part. So yeah, it was really, it was super fascinating and lovely and entertaining. And I did, when she wrote back, she's like, I've got your number, kid. First of all, kid. And again, thank you for everybody on Facebook. I got thousands of messages, and happy birthday, young lady. Always appreciated.
Oh my gosh. Well, you are so well loved.
So it was just as I said, big ball of gratitude. Big and softer from last week, as you could tell, where I'm like, hello, I'm barely hanging on. What?
Chewing your fingernails down to stumps.
Yeah. Myself like little cuts. All right. Here I am. Well, it's a big box of wine and a pack of Marlboros. Let's do this and watch. Oh my God. Why am I forgetting my own punchline? Intervention. I was just obsessed with intervention for a long time. I'm like, oh, tell me more. So it was really, really fascinating.
Oh, that's terrific. It really is terrific. And it's interesting how, when we embrace change, how quickly everything seems to fall into place,
Exactly.
Like when the light bulb goes off, it's remarkable how illuminating everything really is.
Well, yeah, because then it just has that domino effect,
Totally.
right? That's the whole thing with being in the flow, which everybody's saying we have to do right now. This is just a time to go with it.
Yeah.
And we're saying how, look, most people really hate change, and I get it. And I know a lot of my friends do. I actually really love change. I'm not crazy about the unknown and not being able to make plans, which a lot of us are in that.
Well, we're all
boat, right? We're all in it.
We're all swimming in that.
In many respects.
Yeah.
So that's a little trickier, but that's where the faith comes in.
And it's so important, and it's interesting. Like human beings, for the most part, I think the vast majority of human beings, and we talked about this just a moment ago, feel the need to be in control. And it's interesting to me how little control you have when you're fighting the ebbs and flows of, the universe, right? And how, contrary to what we're programmed to believe, we're actually more in control by giving it up.
Well, this apparently for everyone right now, This is especially a time not to be fighting anything. It's to be going with it. Apparently, the ascension is really quick. So what this means, what I keep hearing from different spiritual circles or anything is it reminds me of a great quotation. You know how much I love the poet Rumi. And he said, you must protect yourself from your thoughts. So apparently, people are manifesting much more quickly. You can see the energy is, I mean, it's very, she said it's a very dramatic year.
Of course.
Not just for me, but for everyone. There's super drama everywhere. Things are very intense. They're moving really quickly. And that's why it's good to just shapeshift and go with it.
Totally. Well, you know, I mean, they say don't fight the current. It's the fastest way to drown. Go with the current, you know, and that requires...
Got to ragdoll it.
Yeah, exactly. That's, you know, succumbing to the current and allowing the stream to take you where it needs to take you is the key, not fighting it and railing against it, you know?
Yeah, a big lesson in detachment, which is difficult. You got to do your thing, and then you make your creation. Then you got to send it out in the world and not worry about the outcome. Right? You have to detach from that. Very prevalent, obviously, in Buddhism, but so much easier said than done.
Of course it is.
I'm like freaking Yoda with other people's lives because you've got the whole person. You can see it, and you're like, don't.
Well, there's objectivity. Exactly. You know, when you're balls deep in your own life, we don't.
That should really be put on a pillow, Michael. That's beautiful.
I'm such a
refined. When your balls deep in your own life, dude, it's tough to see, man, because the balls.
What the balls get in the way?
Balls are blindfolding you.
You know,
they're all over the place.
I'm such a classy broad, but
and I love it.
But when you are, you know, ass deep in alligators, like, you know, you don't have the objectivity that you need. And it's difficult to kind of take a step back out of your own life and with honesty, because let's face it.
Because what lens, we're always going to have our lens on.
Of course. You know, and I think that that ability takes practice, right? And forgiveness, you know.
Well, and compassion.
Of course. Absolutely. For yourself.
And others.
Absolutely.
And, you know, again, to circle jerk. By the way, we're playing the circle jerk drinking game. Not us, of course, because we're still barely hanging on and hungover. But you.
We're detoxing.
Yeah, we detox before we retox. One of the other things she mentioned, and everybody's been talking so much about this year, is speaking of the octopus teacher, taking our cues from nature. Like she was immediately, you know, the sunshine, you've got to get near a seaside or just walk in the woods, walk out in the country. And I'm like, perfect. You know, watch the various animals because nature never tries too hard. Nature never hangs on too tight. Because people, like, that's the whole thing, that whole tension where your sphincter, you know, like a white woman.
Making diamonds.
When your sphincter is exactly where you need, like, Jamie Lee Curtis's lifetime supply of Activia and the jaws of life to unclench. And you're holding on too tight is when...
it's when everything comes undone. You know, and taking cues from nature is it's the perfect.
They never force.
No.
They're never the king or queen of trying too hard.
Exactly. Nature's always in perfect balance, you know, and it's only when the likes of the humans come in to try and control nature that things go awry. But left to her own devices, she's always in balance. You know?
And the other thing is just there's also have compassion and forgiveness for others, but it's a real time of introspection, obviously. And we've been forced to.
Of course.
Of course. I love being busy because busy, then you don't have to.
Then you don't have to think about anything, right?
Your own, what?
In your own juices,
Exactly.
I know. You know, and so maybe, you know, it's
juices. I can't even look at your little mug, your beautiful little mug without not wanting to make you laugh.
And you do every day.
That can't hurt. It just can't hurt.
No, laughter is the best medicine, right? And you can attest to this after having done all the research with comedic meditation. Laughter is so incredibly good for your soul, it's good for your spirit, and it's good for your body physically.
Oh, it does everything. And, you know that Norman Cousins claimed to have cured himself of cancer by just watching funny movies and calls it the closest distance between two people, which I so agree with. Like when you can share a joke and you look over at something said and you lock eyes, to me, that's a mutual release, as they'd say in the real estate world. I'm apprentice dean for the Michael Stewart Webb real estate team.
Yes, you
which
are.
I just wish I should be on right now. But instead, I'll continue to be the rodeo clown and hope. But it's true, right? It's like, to me, better than sex. Like that's how I become attracted. That's how I absolutely bond with people. And I don't mean it always a sexual thing. I mean, like my brother had us, and I just couldn't take it. We were making each other laugh.
I couldn't take my eyes off of Rick most of that Zoom meeting. He was just watching him laugh and covering his mouth and like he was laughing almost the entire time, and it was just so invigorating, and to see him so jubilant, it was really beautiful.
He has one of those infectious laughs, and nobody makes me laugh more. And then we had all these funny, it was like a sitcom. You could not have cast this better. And we have, God bless, our birthday girl, Donna Roberts, saying, let's go around the room and everybody says what they think is wonderful about Carla. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm sweating. And she said, perspiring. And,
I love her.
And of course, we have a bunch of sarcastic people. Like when you have a couple of little brothers on the call, no one's going to do that.
Oh my
right?
God.
And so we're laughing. And then and she was like, honeys, let's get back to this. She was like, Michael, go ahead. And you're like, oh my God, I just planned this whole thing.
I know. I thought she was kidding. And then she kept reiterating. I'm like, okay. I'm
slightly scared of you right now.
I'm sorry, Miss Donna.
I will tell you why I'm grateful. But the funny thing is and then it's my brother's turn. And my buddy Paul Schmidt said, by the way, everything Rick says, he's actually talking about Tom Brady and not his sister, Carla. Got a man crush on Tom Brady. Like I just loved.
I know that was probably one of the most beautiful things, right? Because everyone who has not been in the same room in some cases for years.
Yes.
And we had all come together, and we were taking jabs at each other. And teasing each other.
Well, in my family, that was love. That always
love.
equaled love. Like
it is
again,
love.
I knew a guy liked me when he would make fun of me.
Well, it's like pigtails in the ink thing,
yes.
right? So
like, since time in memoriam, just remember
Seriously.
how Jesus was pulling on Mary Magdalene's ponytail? Probably. You don't know. Neither one of us knows. So.
But
don't challenge me.
That is love, because if you're indifferent, there's nothing worse than indifference.
Oh, well,
I'd rather you hate me than be indifferent, because at least you're feeling something.
No, exactly. Hate and love are neighbors.
They are.
Indifference is the opposite of love.
Exactly.
You're 1,000% right. I'm always trying to tell people that. You don't want someone to say, what do you think? What did you think of that? Meh.
There's nothing. I know. It's true. So everyone was, teasing each other in that loving, playful kind of way, and everyone was on a roll. Paulie was on a roll, and Rick was on a roll, and Donna, even Chip.
I know.
Donna's husband.
He was wearing like a really loud shirt that everybody was making fun of. Of course. And so the great thing was we do this whole thing, and I know Chip, but not super well. And we're all done. He's like, let me tell you what I love, Carla. And I was like, oh, sorry, Chip. It's not like we didn't see him there, because whenever he'd leave,
I know.
And he said, because he'd just hear Donna laughing so
I
hard.
know, that was the most beautiful thing.
Always, and he's like, mostly from the bathtub. I think Donna and Carla are always naked when they're making each other laugh. And I'm like, again, I have a younger brother on the call. If we could not. So it was beautiful that you thought to bring all of us together so everybody could see each other and.
Well, I mean, what?
Shtick and
oh my God!
I think everyone had a wonderful time.
They did.
Greg was even having meatless meatballs.
I know. I
that was
absolutely
very
love
sweet.
Craig. Well, it was
the Trader
right?
Joe's, because we can't get it here. So.
I know. So Craig going out of his way to participate in our vegan meal by going vegan himself for the meal. It was just
everyone else participated by having a lot of alcohol. To join our, which was gosh. And it was great. And so, look, my mom was very much work hard, play hard, and we really as I said, I've watched for a sign for over 6 years now, and I sure got it with her bringing you to me rather, and that was just a beautiful night. It was a beautiful night, and it was perfect. It was just perfection. And
well, I think we have to thank you, because were you not such an incredibly large player in all of our lives, we would have had. Sakes. No, I'm being genuine now, right? I'm trying not to cry. So, you really are an incredible human being. And were you not such a huge were you not someone who played such a huge role in all of our lives, we would not have come together in love on Friday. And it was just such a magical evening for everybody. So thank you.
Oh, well, tried to see I just want to make a joke or jump under Cadbury, where I think it's safe right now. Thank you.
Honey. No, thank you.
Listen, I won the lottery with people, and I was thinking, with the how some of these relationships go back to when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, my brother, but I won the lottery with him as a brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he just constantly makes fun of me. That's why I was like, oh, guys, stop saying stuff. I'm going to hear about this for months. Meeting Donna, and as she said, to take this away, she said, we've become even closer during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So it's doable, right?
Absolutely.
I'm trying to really search for the great things that have come out of this.
Yeah.
And
that was really profound too, Donna's comment about everyone getting closer. And it's because we have to try harder. We need to be more mindful.
Yeah.
We have to make a bigger effort. Because we can't just pop in on people, right? We have to be more conscious of the efforts we make to be an active participant in not only our own lives, but also in the lives of the people who matter to us. So we have to work harder right now.
We do, and work differently.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a lot of us have been at home, so it's hard to avoid calls. I know you're there. People keep calling me on video calls, and I got to tell you, bitches, I'm just not always going to answer. Like, I can't when I'm sitting there having a bag of Cheetos with 18 animals on me in my pajamas. Hello? Zit cream on. I can't, sometimes I just like the old-fashioned phone calls.
I know.
But also there's a thing, like, for example, honestly, even during this numerology, I said, how about just the phone? Mm-hmm. And not just because it was Sunday morning and I wanted to remain in my pajamas, but because sometimes I can focus more on people. Sometimes it's great to have the visual.
Sure.
But sometimes it can be distracting.
Of course. Yeah.
But on Friday, it was wonderful to see everyone. It really was.
Oh, it was great.
And so thank you. I cannot thank you enough. And yeah, I think it's because everybody's like, oh, another pandemic birthday, but it can be a good thing. And there was very much, as I said, the spirit of my mom, who says that everyone's birthday is their day. So it was just wonderful.
Yeah.
It was just wonderful.
I actually remember you sharing your mom's philosophy on birthdays with me, and it's something that has resonated. So,
well, because you were like, no, my birthday. And I said, we're going to do it. Now, a little different for me, because a lot of my stuff went sideways for your birthday, but but it left us with a great story.
I had a great birthday. What are you talking about?
And yeah, I really do believe that. I really do believe that, and reaching out. And sometimes just giving somebody a happy birthday on Facebook, you never know the impact you're having at a certain time.
Yeah.
And I always call, like, birthdays can be a real trigger day for people, the way that funerals and weddings are. Like, have you ever said, all of a sudden somebody loses their damn mind at a wedding, like they're just a bridesmaid gone wrong? I mean, how many movies and TV shows? Because these are heightened emotional
They're triggers,
times,
for
right?
sure.
And you don't know what that person's going through. And I'm really trying to keep that in mind. We don't know what someone else is going through right now. And it's a whole festival of things, whether it's, vaccinations or worried about COVID and financial and stuff.
Sure.
Like
everything is turned on its ear right now, and no one really has any idea what tomorrow is going to look like. All the more reason to just kind of stop trying and let the current take you where it needs to take you.
Yes.
But that's why everyone is so on edge, and everything is so heightened. Everything is like times 10 because
It is. It's all on steroids.
It is.
Everyone.
You know?
And, you know, might I add, though, we never know what tomorrow brings. I mean,
We
that's
don't.
what I've been saying to sort of calm myself. Like, I know during this, it's, I don't know, I can't even make a plan. I don't even know when I can get my plane ticket. But in some respects, we really don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. And everything brings a risk.
Yeah.
So I'm also
for
trying
sure.
to balance that too.
Yeah.
So as my friend said, well, I don't know if I want to get the vaccine and have a penis growing out of my forehead. And I'm like, you would be she's gorgeous. You'd be a beautiful unicorn.
There's some people I know who might want a penis growing out of their forehead.
Especially if we're back in quarantine. I got to tell you, the old...
With the AstraZeneca.
The penis forehead, exactly. It's so trendy right now. Like Hansel, it's so hot right now. Forehead penis, awesome.
Oh my God.
Some people might want that. I'm a unicorn.
Oh, Jesus.
So silly. And I had, speaking of my life's purpose, I had a great gig this week with Microsoft. Baller.
Yes, I know. So thrilled for you. That was really quite a coup.
That was wonderful, yeah. Because and it was just it was a small team of 8, so I got to personalize all the comedy, and then do the meditation, and
it was great.
Like again, these were a whole gaggle of overachievers, 8 type personalities. They need to laugh and relax. And it's funny because this team, they would like talk back. It's almost the closest I've been to a real show where I would ask a rhetorical question, which in no way screwed up my rhythm. I'd say, you don't shove your baby into people's arms, do you? And I'd go on, and she's like, no, I haven't, and I'll make sure I never do. And I'm like, okay.
Well, that was actually really kind of nice.
It was fantastic.
It was
a back and
interactive.
forth. Yes.
Yeah, which historically speaking, you would only get if you were in a live situation in a club, right? Feeding off of the crowd. So it was phenomenal, and I'm so proud of you. Like what a coup, getting a gig with like one of the largest corporations on the planet.
I know. It was just like I said, by the way, you have the hottest office assistant, Cortana. Very, very exotic.
She is exotic.
Whereas Alexis just sounds like me. It's a white woman with a chihuahua, let's be honest. So, so that was great. And I love doing them. I'm excited all day.
Yeah.
And, we're actually in a funky, weird part of this pandemic because everybody's in sort of a different phase. Like, California's basically open. Texas is completely open.
For now. Texas never closed down.
Well, they never did. Florida's like, I don't even know what you guys are talking about. Kids have always gone to school. Florida's got their own thing going on. And sometimes I dig that about them. So I know it could always be different, but it's weird because now it's where it's like kind of, it's whack-a-mole.
It is like whack-a-mole, which...
Panda.
It's true. So that's another kind of layer of uncertainty, right? Because everyone's kind of through different phases of extricating themselves from this pandemic, and no one's in the same place right now. So
no, as my brother said, he just went to a concert with 50,000 people.
I know. I just couldn't believe he.
But Paul said, yeah, but that had to be a New Zealand entertainer. So the good and the bad. No, but I mean, again, New Zealand had a hard shot and they've been open. But he also said, yeah, I also can't leave though. So there's.
I know, but
like everything in life.
I don't know.
Sword.
Like I have to think about this too, right? And everyone has been whinging about the cost to the economy with these shutdowns. But, wouldn't it have been more economical if everyone had just done like New Zealand did and shut everything down for 4 weeks to get on top of it and then go back to your merry way, and it's been over a year now.
Their thing was a zero tolerance. Yes. They felt that no life was expendable.
Exactly. Well, that's the point, right? And
it comes from the leader, right? Yeah. So you've got this phenomenal woman with having a kid in office, gave birth.
Literally.
Like, she's like, I don't know what can't she do?
I don't know. I think she was at her desk, gave birth. And went back to her computer.
Well, she dealt a year prior to the pandemic. Exactly. There was the the shooting in the mosque.
Yeah.
Boom. The next day, all assault weapons. They were all banned. Like she's Action Jackson.
Absolutely. Well, Australia did something very similar.
Yes, they did.
There was some mass murder, and overnight they banned all assault rifles. And in fact, I think there are very few guns in Australia that are even permissible. They had a big.
Well, they don't need it. Everything else can kill you in Australia.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you could just be packing
wielding
a spider.
rattlesnake
Exactly.
or something.
I mean, you don't need guns.
No. Oh.
Darling, are you getting a call?
I should have, I think, maybe turned my ringer off, which I shall do right now.
Try and be professional. I know. My ringer's off. Surfing porn during the douche is vegan.
I know, Jesus.
Which we're so ridiculous.
Oh,
did we have anything else we wanted?
Oh
to?
yeah, you know what? I just want to circle jerk back to to our dessert. Or
Yes.
I have to give an honorable mention to Amanda Kasserman from Moonbeam Vegan Bakery.
Okay, and don't you just expect a vegan bakery to be called Moonbeam?
Moonbeam, I know. So Amanda's Bakery is in Barrie, and we had this decadent chocolate cheesecake that, honestly, in my opinion, was better than any real, I say in quotations, cheesecake I've ever had in my life. Like, you would never know that this was not dairy.
It was ridiculous. It was so good. It was crazy decadent, crazy good. You really just needed a little sliver because that was
it was
richer than Bill Gates. and and certainly went well with the Hennessy.
It did. Well, chocolate and cognac. Come on.
It was beautiful. Like if you know, there's just no way you could tell.
No, none at all. So I've got to give props to Amanda from Moonbeam. Check them out. Go to their website, and they've got all kinds of delicious vegan delicacies and desserts and things like that. So predicated on this phenomenal chocolate cheesecake, I don't think anyone could ever be disappointed with.
No, you can have your cake and eat it too.
You can.
Your vegan cake and eat it too.
Yes, you can.
Now, I was somewhat disappointed. The only thing is I thought maybe a vegan stripper would jump out.
Well, you know, I was...
Again, the lockdown, am I right?
Know. I was working on getting... Magic Mike out here, Channing Tatum, but
he
wasn't taking my calls.
I know. We also had like a crazy ass storm that day.
Oh my God!
That once again blew over
another building.
We're like the three little pigs here. I literally said to you, just build it out of brick, dude, because everything else is falling down here. We had gale force winds.
Like tornado type weather.
Because I mean actual tables outside. All of your lawn furniture shifted. And I thought you moved things. I can't believe the wind.
I know, it was like poltergeist. It was like Carrie was out on my deck.
And something blew down. So I do want to mention something funny. It's like a couple of days ago. You were out because you were showing a home. You were doing some realtor business. So he's allowed to go out. I myself just stay here, and I was being a good beard. And I'm like, darling, I will start dinner. You tell me when you're on your way back. Gosh. So you texted me, and I said, I've got the oven preheated. Not a euphemism. So, and we have, like, we're making the Miles meals for the dogs and all the kittens. Everybody's here. And then you ring me and say, listen, I just got a call that all of the horses are out. There are 5. All of the horses are out. And I was like, You're like, could you go outside? And I'm like, and do what? He said, well, you got to make sure they don't go to the road. I'm like, okay, how do I wrangle horses? How do I wrangle 5 bareback steeds? And you're like, just wave your arms. And it's like this crazy storm. So I'm out there in my wellies on the street. And your wonderful neighbors were also on horse patrol and drove up, and she said, no, I counted. Like, obviously, whoever gave this information was mistaken. Thank Christ!
I know.
Because I don't know what I'm going to... Could you just imagine me doing some interpretive dance?
Pole dance.
And my brother said, I hear they really respond well to whispering. We're going to play the telephone game, boys. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say, I was born on a pirate's ship, and by the end, it'll sound like pirate's tit. It's fun. I have to tell you, I'm still waking up in a cold sweat, really grateful that the horses were indeed not out.
I know. And, well, and so just to offer a little bit of backstory to our panic. So Dacroix, who I have no idea how. So he's one of our Canadians, and has equine metabolic syndrome. So he's got ouchy feet and hasn't been terribly mobile. He's chronically laminitic, and so for almost every day for the last week, I have a neighbor calling me, telling me that one of my horses is out.
He's so French. That quack keeps busting out.
It's true. And I have no idea how he's doing it. Like, are you just levitating over the fence?
I said, don't you have cameras? Because we got to find out what this guy's doing. It's like a Shawshank Redemption situation.
I know he's
Is
like
he tunneling
teleporting.
under?
I know he's teleporting over.
Can you imagine if he is just levitating and he looks around? And then the other day he was out and looking back at you like,
oh, I know. Well,
he's taunting you.
He was. So I'd closed off this one paddock, the paddock that he, for whatever reason, and beyond my comprehension, kept escaping from, and so I just thought, okay, I don't have time to deal with this right now. I'm just closing off the paddock so you guys can get in there. And then I had gone back out and I retensioned all the fences and so I let them all out and he proceeds to go through this paddock and he just kept looking over his shoulder back at me.
Sassy.
He was sassy. It's like, I don't know what you're looking at.
Don't hit me because I'm beautiful. Sorry,
I know.
bitch. I'm just gonna go for a little jaunt.
It was the cutest thing, honest to God. He was taunting me.
I just love that he's doing so well that he's galloping.
A
horse that could barely walk on
is now literally running through the fields. And so,
naked. Because he's seen me do the same.
Oh my gosh.
I also go over and eat the neighbor's wheat crops.
Oh my God.
I also escaped from the farm and I think Carla's wandering in our fields again. And then
wearing nothing but her Wellington boots.
That's right. Michael has to come get me, and I'm like, all right.
Wrangle
over my
you.
shoulder.
All like Grandma Millie.
Exactly.
That's exactly what he looked like. He had that sort of over-the-shoulder Grandma Millie look.
He's perfected it. So again,
my God.
this is where the city slicker, where I mean, you're like, do you mind, hon? And I'm like, no, I don't. I just really not sure what I'm going to do.
And the thing is, like, I never questioned it, right? My first reaction is, how the hell are all 5 horses out?
I know.
But I didn't question it because every day for the week leading up to that, Dequois was out munching on the neighbor's, well, it's my field, but my neighbor's crop.
He's just basically like, and you just figured he brought his friends this time. Like, guys, I'm having the time of my life every afternoon. You should come with.
I know. This is how I'm doing it.
Yeah. Follow me. I'm like, all right, cool.
Oh.
Diego's twirling his
little handlebar mustache. I know.
So again, I had a great birthday just because I was relieved I didn't have to wrangle 5 horses.
Oh my God.
I don't know what I would have done. Like, here's my impression of Bob Dylan doing Frankie Goes Hollywood. When you want to come. And then the horses I just annoy them back into their stalls. Like, I really didn't have a plan.
I just went out
to the street and I'm like, I guess I'll keep them off the street.
I can see it now. Is this them all talking about, is this bitch for real?
I know. Why is she in high heels? Who are you gonna wrangle? Hey, what's going on over there? Hey, Lady Godiva.
Oh, Jesus.
I was like, I'll just side saddle you into submission. I didn't know. I really didn't have a plan. I just ran out there and thought, I don't like just clapping and burping and like just making weird noises and bad impressions and just, all right, everybody, hey, come on, work with me. Give them sexy talk. Look at you big studs, you big stallions. Get in here. I had no plan. I've literally never been more relieved in my life when your neighbor said, because I saw 3. She's like, oh no, all 5 are in. It was obviously a mistake. And I was like, and phew.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was so relieved. I had never driven so fast in all my life.
You're like breaking the speed of light to get home.
Oh my God, it was true. Because, I just had these visions of them getting out onto the road and we occasionally have some, small dicked men that drive their cars way too fast down the street.
Science. Yes. So we didn't want that to happen. So there wasn't a rainstorm.
Yes.
Not really.
And thank you for that.
Well, again, I'll always try.
Not many on their birthday would go out.
Hey, here we go. Woo! So the horses are in. Who let the horses out?
Yeah, it's a new.
Horses are in. Cats are getting adopted. The chickens are flying out of the bathtub.
Yep.
That's fun too. So
there's no shortage of entertainment here.
Soon they'll be going outdoors. What, in another couple weeks?
Yeah. They're
doing so well.
They are. They're getting bigger and bigger by the day. Yeah. They're losing their down and getting real feathers and
same.
you know. And I don't know if you've noticed or not, but they're getting very curious. So they'll be like, you know, looking over, like stretching their necks. And,
They're right. I was like, now when I grab two at a time, they seem safer like that. But like clean out the bathtub, they're just, what? There's a giant. It must look like Cyclops coming at them, like this Sasquatch keep coming.
well, your mommy, they imprinted on you.
Ish. So, but they're always, at first they seem alarmed and then they're like, oh, cool. All right. Yeah, I just like put them up against a heartbeat and then they seem fine.
And they settle down.
All men like to nestle against my bosom. Again, we don't know what they are yet. Hoping that there's not like 75 roosters in there, so we can keep them. But yeah, so all the whole zoo is fine. And
it's all right.
I mean, the animals are doing well. Our buildings keep blowing over.
Yeah, we're going to have to work on that next.
So, yeah. Good. But we're rolling with it.
We are
rolling with it.
We are. We're going with the tide, right? We're going with the current.
Don't pull your punches, roll with them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I love you, darling.
I love you too, Angel. Happy birthday.
Thank you, my darling gay fiance. Spoiling me. And thank you for listening. And give us a like. Leave us some comments. And we appreciate that you're hanging in. Again, for vegans and non-vegans.
Yes, so grateful.
Love ya.
Have a wonderful weekend, everyone.